Hello! Welcome to Sappho. I'm Claire, and if you're ever wondering throughout the video why my accent sounds like this, I'm from Singapore. I've been playing Dinkum for quite a bit, and I've been lovingly working on my island. I don't think it's by any means complete, but I did want to share a tour of my island at this point, my island Sappho. I guess if I had to describe it, I would say it's very much about greenery. It's kind of hailing from my Animal Crossing island that's also named Sappho, by the way. I just generally like plants, I like trees, I like greenery, and I like making my islands feel like they could really be lived in. And I guess I see myself as a benevolent mayor of sorts, and I just enjoy making my towns as pretty as possible and as comfortable as possible for the people that live in it. So, alright, enough of an intro. Let's start by bringing you around my house. So here I decorated my home really similar to how I would decorate it in real life, except in real life I do not have anything close to a green thumb, and so in game I just like to pretend that I can have all these plants and they stay alive forever. So yeah, I love having plants everywhere, and you'll really see what I mean later. Lol. But yeah, over here I have a little bit of a wardrobe area. It's just some storage for all my different clothing items. These are really stuff that I personally like and that I would actually make my character wear. So I also have some, fun, like unique outfits that I have that I like, and that some of them are still in progress. I still need to find the other pieces to complete them, and it really takes time. I know I need to just keep buying stuff from Clover and keep checking her shop, but no matter how many times I tell myself, I always forget to do it every day, and then it's like 6 p.m. I'm like, Clovers! Yeah. So over here there's a little bit of kitchen area. Just want to make my house feel like a home. Some apple jam because I like apples, and I think the reds really tie the room together. So yeah, alright, without further ado, let's actually bring you around my island outside. Okay, so here we are. I think let's just start with my home compound. Trying my best not to pan the camera a little bit, too much, because I know it makes people dizzy. I actually recorded this once and I made myself dizzy watching it back, so yeah. I have a lot of my chests just kind of stacked up around the house like this. I started organizing it like this when I started playing Dinkum, like literally 10 hours in. I was like, okay, I don't have anything else, I just have my house, I'm just gonna put the chest by the house. But actually I realized I actually like it this way. So here I have my crafting stuff, and in each of these chests are just the different items that I will need to craft. So then this crafting table can just draw from those chests. And I guess I just got used to how they are organized in this way, so yeah. Back here, I have a little bit of a cooking area, kind of like a cooking patio area, if you will. Here in the red chest I have my raw items, so it's like cropped fruits, stuff that hasn't been cooked, like all the meats. And then over here is in the cooler boxes, which I love, by the way. I think they're so cute. I hope in future updates they'll continue, James continues to give us more unique chests. So yeah, here's the more processed stuff, and of course the cooked food items. Yeah, over here I have a solar panel. I have some battery chargers out, but actually in general I don't really like how the processing items look. So, or rather I don't really like how you have to put a lot of them out and it looks very cluttered. So what I usually do is actually I just keep all my machines in here, and when I need them then I'll take them out and set them down, and then when I'm done I'll put them back. So that's just how I keep things neat, and I keep things looking lush and green and not so industrialized, industrialization kind of, yeah. Here's my personal little pond. I really like how the ponds look. So I have 2 more that's just set up around my town, and generally I do try to use these I guess farming stuff, yeah, like item gathering things. I like to use them decoratively and also have them be functional. So yeah, I guess I'll show you as we get to them. And then here I have a little bit of a chest compound because I realized I was just running out of space for all these like miscellaneous things that I wanted to keep around, but I just didn't have any space to keep them. So yeah, and I love the boom boxes. So I like kind of just setting up music in little areas where it fits. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then final thing for my house area is actually this shed. So it's before they became guest houses, they were just houses that you could build. And like I mentioned, I don't like seeing all the stuff out, right? So I did kind of like a Stardew Valley shed style thing. So I have all my kegs in here, and I have one outside. So when I fill it up, and when it's done, I know that they're done, and I can go in and like, fill them up again. Yeah. Okay. I mean, without further ado, let's actually go into town. So I think we'll start with the town hall. And I think I'll jump into the map when I'm there as well. So another of the fish ponds, you know, just a bit of a filler area over here. And just walk over here. Alright, town hall. So in town, I tried to put... I guess I really wanted the town hall to be the centerpiece of the town. And I tried my best to space out the buildings as much as I can so that they don't look like they're just like clumped together. But I still wanted them close enough that it remained easy for me to access everything and find whoever I needed to find. So yeah, I guess when you walk into town, the first things you see is the big letters just spelling out the town name, Sappho. And here I have another boombox. I just love them so much, so it's just been setting up music in areas that I feel like should have a little bit of theme music. And I guess I always wanted the center of town to be a little bit of a hill, so I wanted you to be able to walk up to the town hall. And okay, I think by now you can kind of see that I don't really have that much pathing out. That's because I don't really like how the paths look, and I like the look of grass, and I like when the grass kind of grows out and, you know, grows taller and makes everything look more lush and green. So you'll find that in my town I have very little pathing out, but yeah, I mean, I think it looks pretty. And here I have the wish fountain, decorative but also works, and I think it looks really nice next to the town hall. And of course a bulletin board over here so that, you know, all the community events, community announcements can be pinned on this board. And of course some seating area, always gotta have seating area to have the townies sit in. And it's really nice because Fletch after work will always be found like on one of these couches, so very cute. And a post box because, I don't know, makes sense, and I think it's cute, and it's also easier for me to access my mail if let's say I'm out. Oh, I love using the bushes. Okay, they're not actually bushes. They're acacia trees that are buried like 5 dirt down, and then they become these like huge bushes. I think it just helps to create like some visual interest by having these bushes that take out a lot of space and make things feel more green, but the area is still, you know, pretty easy to walk around and maneuver around. And actually, you know, you could probably play hide and seek with friends in these bushes. Yeah. Okay, so if you follow the path down here, it brings you to the town bell. I guess it felt right for me to put the town bell really close to the town hall, and I also wanted it to feel like something that pokes out over the other buildings. And I mean, this was also an empty area that needed filling lah. I guess I imagine the townies, like if their friends come over to the island, they're like, hey, you know, meet me by the bell tower, or just check out the building that's next to the bell tower, you know? Yeah. And back here is the, well, as the town's only restaurant and the major hangout spot for the townies at night, I of course wanted the tucker box to be central as well. And right outside, we have some outdoor seating with a fancy charcuterie board or whatever. And I love seeing the townies like sitting around here when they're off work. So yeah, just think it's very cute, very cohesive. I have a map table here to help any lost tourists to just figure their way around town. And this brings us nicely to the beauty district. So here you have Sally's salon for your hair, piercings, and then you can make your way over to Clover's thread space. And I have this right outside, some kind of like outdoor flea market kind of setup with some hit music. And behind I used the creeping vines as well as the crude ladders to kind of create like makeshift walls so that this area feels a bit more enclosed and part of a thread space. And with the clothes, I guess I was going for like gothy cottagecore vibe. Oh, I realized he doesn't have pants. Okay, I swear he had pants. I think I must have messed up. Anyways, yeah, very nice. If only I just remember to go to Clovers every day. Anyways, okay, let's go over here. I guess you can also see that apart from the plants and trees, that I've really tried my best to create like differences, you know, have it be asymmetrical, have it have like a lot of visual interest by, you know, placing different bushes, different flowers around. I also tried to place the plant items, like the actual furniture items, so it felt like the townies are also decorating their shop fronts and decorating the town. Yeah, so I hope it feels a bit more intentional that way. And I mean, as you can see, you know, Sappho is all about greenery, Sappho is all about nature. So of course the greenhouse, I definitely play favorite, so the greenhouse gets a huge compound by itself. And over here I have all the flower bits that are decorative but functional. So I wanted it to look like a field or a hill that was just filled with flowers. And I also wanted it to work like, yeah, whenever I need flowers, this is actually where I go to harvest them. So I tried my best to make it more interesting because I didn't really just want like lines or flower boxes. So I tried to play around with like different layers of elevation. Then I also tried to follow the natural shape of a hill. And I have some spots in between that, you know, yeah, it's not the most efficient, but I think it breaks up the flower boxes and just gives this area a bit more visual interest. And then we'll make our way down here. And this is just a little bit of a garden area where Rain will grow all of these plants and they'll sell them for here. This like outdoor stall setup. And then there's a little bit of an area for her to prep the plants, and this is like a basket that she'll put the plants in when you buy them. Register and all. I kind of modeled this after the plant nurseries that are in Punggol in Singapore. I guess if you live in Singapore, then you probably might know what they look like. All the plants are kind of like arranged like this, so it's kind of cute. Yeah. Over here is just a bit of a filler area, but I had to showcase my favorite flower in the game, which is the Jackaroo paw. It's just a nice, you know, marble pergola for you to sit on. And this leads to the John's Goods, the general store. I always keep this chest out here, and I made it blue so that it matches his shop. But this way I store all the stuff that I want to sell, and sometimes when it's closed, then you can just put it here, right? And then when you are actually going in, you can just on the way, just take and sell. And it felt right to have the recycling bin here as well, so I just put it there. And right next to the general store actually is a path that leads down to the mines. I felt like that kind of makes sense to me. So, you know, like if you're a miner, you're working at the mine shaft, you're heading down, you're gonna drop by the general store to get your mining supplies and stuff and then head down, right? So I felt like it made a lot of sense. And here we have a bus stop, even though we don't have buses and we don't have roads. And I just put a bunch of stuff that just feels like it fits around a mine. I should probably fill these two racks with tools. They actually look nicer. And then in this chest here, I have all the mining stuff. So I just try to avoid forgetting stuff that I really need. Like, for example, I always forget the shards. Then I always have to run all the way back to my house. I also put a bulletin board here because I feel like if, you know, you're coming to the town, you need like an odd job, you know, you make some quick cash, then you can check out this bulletin board and like, you know, see if they're hiring a miner for a day or something, then you just head down and work, right? So yeah, that's what I was going for. Yeah, let's go back into town, and this brings us to the bank. So the bank is actually, I think, probably the only building in town that has pathing set under it. I don't know why. I guess I just felt like the bank feels more official and a bank should have foundations. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It looks very nice. And over here I have a little bit of a ADM area. So just pretend that the bus stop actually shelters the ADM. And this is actually how ATMs are set up here in neighborhoods in Singapore. So yeah, I was a bit inspired to recreate that a bit. Yeah, very nostalgic. I don't think they really have that kind of booths anymore, but back when I was growing up, they were always around. Moving along, so I have Melvin's shop here. Okay, honestly, I didn't really know where to put the furniture shop, and this was definitely an area that needed to be filled with something, so I have him facing towards the town so that it doesn't feel like it's part of the area behind it. I kind of made a makeshift shed with 4 dunnies. I got this idea from this Japanese Dinkum YouTuber. I'll link them actually because I really like their building style. And the stack crates is also something I got from them. And I put the saw table and some crafting tables and a work table for whenever Melvin wants to work outside. Yeah. Okay, and I guess this brings us to probably the best area. Actually, I'm just gonna pause here and restart the day so that it'll be bright out. Okay. This brings us to the museum. So I just think the museum is always such an important part of this sort of game. So I loved the Animal Crossing museum, and back on my Animal Crossing island I dedicated a large area just to the museum alone. And so I guess in this game I did something very similar. So I have a little garden here, again showing off the map of Sappho because you know, gotta pay homage to the island that made our town. And I have this garden just showing off significant items from the game, so like all the animal statues that you can get in the mines, as well as like rubies, emeralds, you know, lighthouse souvenir from the Great Bight. And of course I had to showcase my second favorite flower in the game, which is the bird of paradise. And right by the museum I had to put the items, the significant items that I guess make the most sense to showcase right by the museum. So like the amber chunk, the fossil, as well as the meteorite. And I guess if we add more items, I'll probably just keep adding to this garden and just showcase more things. Eventually, if I can actually find an aquamarine, I'll also display that. And here we have another bulletin board because this is where Theodore will share with the town about different events and activities that the museum's holding. And oh yeah, here I also have a terrarium. So I guess I envision this park as like a, you know, one of those experiential learning places that you can bring your kids to, and then they can see all these like cool stuff, and they can also interact with huntsman spiders, I guess, while here. And then just behind here I have Franklin's workshop. I guess it just felt right to have him near the museum, and I can see him and Theodore just nerding out together over like new discoveries on this island. And I feel like over here I could probably create a like research area or like a workshop area with crafting tables and stuff for Franklin in the future. But I think it'll take some time because I do want to put some of the items that he creates. Yeah, alright, but you know, something to look forward to. Back here is where tourists can actually book Sappho tours given by yours truly. And there's a little gacha machine here behind the reception table, and it's for the kiddos, so every family gets a free turn. And there's also a little photo taking area so that you can commemorate your visit to Sappho. Some music, of course, and yes, Sappho is taking visitors, so let me show you the guest houses that we have set up. So when we go over here, I have 3 guest houses. I know you can have 4, and there's 4 tourists that can actually come and stay, but one of it is my shed and I'm not giving that up, so I guess I'll never meet that last tourist. So yeah, I guess we can show off the interiors a little bit, but I guess okay, let me start with the view. So the guest houses are all facing the river and all overlooking this field, this like big field of water bushes and bottle brush bushes. So, and behind there is actually the community park, so I'll show you that in a bit, but let me just take you into the interiors. Okay, so yeah, I guess we can show off the interiors a little bit, but I guess okay, let me start with the view. So the guest houses are all facing the river and all overlooking this field, this like big field of water bushes and bottle brush bushes. So, and behind there is actually the community park. So I'll show you that in a bit, but let me just take you into the interiors. Okay. In this one, I'm actually going for a modern dark wood vibe with green and reds as the accent colors. And generally, I like my houses being kind of realistic. So all of them will have toilets, all of them will have kitchens, a sitting area, like a living room and a bedroom. That being said, not all of them have toilets that you can actually get into because of space issues, but you'll see later. But yeah, like I guess I'm going for a nice, cozy, beautiful Airbnb vibe, you know, like I want people to enjoy staying here. Let's move on to the next guest house. So in this one, similarly a modern vibe, but with light woods and orange and blacks as the accents. And yes, this one is the one where there isn't enough room for you to get into the tub, so you gotta step on the toilet to get into the tub. But it's okay, you know, it's all pretend anyways, right? There's a little bit of a dressing area, some privacy screen, and yeah, I mean, I really like how all the interiors look. I'm happy with what I've done with them. And finally, for the third guest house over here, I'm going for a cabin vibe, so very orangey, hi Mason, very orangey warm woods with reds and blues. And this one actually has the most spacious bathroom, I think. Very nice, yeah. Alright, let's head over to the community park. So I'm gonna take the actual path, even though I can fly over there. Please ignore all of the alpha animals around. I have this mod where I have more of them spawning. This was before the great bite was added, and you know, alpha animals were pretty hard to get. Anyways, it starts off with this like open area where I have another solar panel set up. Like I mentioned, I don't like having my processors just left out, so I actually keep my kettles, BD cans, and grain mills all in here. And whenever I need to process them, then I'll take them out, set them down, and when I'm done, I'll put them back. So I always keep this area free and easy to walk. Up here, we have a bridge that leads to nowhere, but I think it looks kind of pretty. I think it's a good place to take photos. So I like what I've done with this park. I like how everything is so lush. There's mixtures of flowers, bushes, even the furniture items that are plants. And this is where I actually set up the bandstand. So whenever we have community events like Sappho Day, this is where it's held, and I think it's a beautiful place. I really love seeing all the townies just walking around, like, you know, trying to pop the balloons and stuff during Skyfest, or just hanging around for a snack. I just think it fits so well. And yeah, over here there's a checkerboard which is actually playable, but I don't think it's actually the right number of pieces, but I didn't want it to be too big, and I think it looks really cute on the map. And what's a community park without a pond, of course, and a pergola sitting area? So of course we have that. Oh yeah, and back here we have all of the bee houses, because I feel like all the flowers back there, plenty of nectar for the bees to make honey. And I think this will lead us nicely into my farm area over here. Yeah. So for the farm, I really wanted it to look natural. I wanted it to fill up an entire landmass. And so I tried my best to follow the curve of the landmass. Man, it was a pain to get all these fences. But I think this plot takes about 475 plants. And no, it's not efficient at all. It's not effective at all because I can't actually use my tractor on this plot. And it's okay, I guess. I like picking plants by hand anyways. Yeah, so I have some stuff over here on display, like a bit of a farmer's market kind of vibe, just to break up the monotony of the farm plot and make things look a bit nicer. And okay, so now we can actually go to the animal enclosures over here. So here is where I actually have Erwin's barn. I have incorporated him into the animal enclosures because I felt like he will probably be he'll probably want to be closest to the animals, but the only thing that sucks about this is that he's kind of over here all on his own. He does like make his way to the tucker box at night, but generally like when he's walking around, he's kind of stuck here, so that's my only gripe. But anyways, nevertheless, I have this outdoor like selling area with all the different barn equipment that he provides, and also some apples, carrots, and kale. So you can purchase them and actually feed them to the animals. And this flour thing is actually supposed to be his animal feed, but I don't think you can actually make that a model. So yeah, I guess for the animal enclosures, I wanted them to really look like they were enriching places for the animals to live in. So as much as I can, like I made them bigger, make them more lush. I gave the chickens a little bit of a shaded area here in case they don't want to hide from the sun, but they don't want to be in their coop. And okay, so if we just cross the bridge over here, it should brings us to the platypus and wombat's enclosure. For the platypus, I of course gave them a little pond. They need to have a pond for them to, hide from the Australian sun. And every one of their animal feed stations are always through a shower because everyone on Sappho needs to shower. And finally, my favorite animals ever, the wombats. And of course they have the biggest enclosure, but I mean, that being said, they are also the biggest animal. I just love them. They're so cute and friend-shaped and round. Oh my god. I haven't been able to get the wild ones yet, like the wombat bulls. I don't think I've seen them, and I don't really know how to use the domestic crate, but I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually. There's another fish pond here, decorative and functional, kind of, because I always forget to feed this one because it's kind of out of the way, as opposed to the one near my home and the one near town. I have some milk buckets and spinning wheels for processing the wool and processing milk, and that kind of brings us back to my home. So actually, I'm just going to turn around here and bring you to the campsite. So in the campsite, I guess I kept it pretty simple. I just set up some tents. I made sure to get the different colored ones so they look kind of interesting, I guess, instead of all being blue or something. So clearly someone here is like starting to set up a picnic, and back here I have a kind of a barbecue area with a basin. This is, yeah, it's kind of how a lot of condo barbecue pits look in Singapore, so try to make it look like that. And then of course a cooler box for people to store their food, and then this is the actual campsite, so I also wanted it to be on a hill. Yeah, actually I think that's almost all of my island. I think there's just one final thing to show you. Let me head over there. Burp. Right, and it's just over here. It's the airport. So on Sappho, we travel by teleporting because I hate pathing, and the age of technology is now, and who needs vehicles when you can just teleport, right? But yeah, here it is. Here's the airport. I think it's a pretty cookie cutter build. Arrivals and departures, just like a landing or runway, yeah, like a plane runway, and a hangar for private helicopter rides, as well as a private car to take you into town, even though there are no roads. But yeah, this airport build is super inspired by Ellie Jelly's airport build on her first island. And over here, then I have some of the items from the island reef, the beach items, so that you can overlook the ocean. Just after you land, build a sandcastle. And I actually have ideas to build out a dock over here, on the dock that you actually arrive on. And I wanted air travel and sea travel to be together. So yeah, I mean, I guess in the future, once I do this, thinking like boats, boat rental, ships, that'd be cool. And then maybe like unloading cargo or something. But yeah, okay, there it is, Sappho. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for following me around on this tour of my island, Sappho. And if it isn't clear already, I really like this game. I think it's the perfect cross between Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, and it's set in Australia, and it's super cute with fun mechanics and rich gameplay. I don't think this is the end of Sappho. I'll probably keep working on building out the island, and perhaps in the future, if there's something significant for me to show, I'll upload another tour. But for now, I mean, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed this tour. If you have ideas, honestly, like, give me ideas. I love building shit. But yeah, I hope we see each other again, and yeah, bye bye.